One second. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu. Hello everyone. I'm Bhikkhuni Khemawamsi from Mahawana Tutanka or the Mahawana Dhamma Sanctuary. We now live both in Facebook page and also the YouTube. Today, we will discuss the Dhamma, the Buddha's teaching on the topic of the Great 40 from Middle Discourse number 117. Here I have attached the links for you all. The Great 40 Middle Discourse. As I've mentioned many times, when we have the Dhamma discussion for the Buddhist insight and also for the empty cloud, that if you would like to learn more about the Noble Eightfold Path, this is the sutta, this is the discourse for you to delve into the Noble Eightfold Path, because not only the Buddha mentioned about what are they like each one in the Noble Eightfold Path, but the Buddha discuss about the relation, the condition, the support, things like that. So today we're gonna learn about this, learn together. We're gonna read through the discourse together, okay? Thus I have heard, on one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anantapindika's park. There he addressed the bhikkhu, and then the bhikkhu said, "Venerable sir," they replied. The Blessed One said this, "Bhikkhu, I shall teach you noble right concentration with its support and its requisites. I will teach you, the noble immersion, the noble concentration with its vital conditions and its prerequisites." So vital condition here, as described in the commentary, is the condition for something that is both necessary and strongly conducive. And also prerequisite is the equipment or the requirement. So the Buddha, first, he mentioned, hey, bhikkhu and everyone that's there, I will teach you the noble right concentration with the conditions, the important conditions, and also the requirement. Listen and apply your mind well, I will speak. What is the noble right concentration with its vital conditions and its prerequisites? They are right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, and right mindfulness. So here we can see that the Buddha brought the number 8, the right concentration. Normally when we discussed the Noble Eightfold Path, we're gonna discuss from right view, right? Number 1, right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and then the last one, right concentration. But here, in this sutra, the Buddha talk about, okay, everyone, I'm gonna talk about the right concentration with its condition and requirement. What are they? They are right view, number 1, right thought, the second, third, right speech, fourth, right action, fifth, right livelihood, sixth, right effort, and eventually number 7, right mindfulness. Unification of mind with these seven factors as prerequisites is what is called noble right concentration with its vital conditions and also with its requirements. So here, as you know, like many master, many teachers say, like if you follow the Noble Eightfold Path, from the first one to number seven, eventually, without wanting, without yearning, without craving for the right concentration, it will eventually arise. You will reach the right immersion. So think of the right concentration, number eight, as the fruit of these seven factors, number one through number seven. So when people talk about the Noble Eightfold Path, we say like, okay, first have the right view, and then follow the path, cultivate like the qualities, go along the process, this process, but not in like, okay, right speech and then right actions, not like that. You have to do like like all of these, number one to number seven, starting from right view until right mindfulness. And then when it ripen, when it like um unification of the mind with the seven factors, eventually you will reach the right immersion. So this is very actually it's very interesting. Normally when people like first come to the Buddha Sasana, the Buddha's teaching, we come through practice the mindfulness, and then we want to have the right concentration, right? But here in this sutra, we will learn that, oh, the importance of the right view is very, like something that we should bear in mind, that actually we have to follow the path starting from the first one, right view, which is the wisdom. And then altogether with the unification of the mind and also these factors, then eventually you will reach the right concentration. Okay, next. The Buddha said, in this case, right view comes first. Right view is the utmost importance here. Talking about the Noble Eightfold Path, the right view comes first. Think of it as like the head of the train. If the head of the train lead to the right direction, you're gonna eventually um, can go to the right um, right goal, right destination. So right views come first. And how does right view come first? When you understand wrong view as wrong view and right view as right view, that is your right view. So you have the wisdom to distinguish between right and wrong, wholesome or unwholesome, with the benefit or with the disadvantage or drawback, something like that. So you have the right view to distinguish, to differentiate between good and bad, wrong and right. What is wrong view? First, the Buddha taught, okay, now, if you talk about to have the right view is to be able to distinguish between right and wrong. So the first one, what is wrong view? Number one, there is no meaning in giving wrong view, right? No meaning in giving. When you give, there is no meaning to it. There is no consequence, something like that. Number two, there is no meaning in sacrifice. Sacrifice here in the Buddha Sasana, the Buddha's teaching, is not about killing animals, but when you like give the flower, the incense, or when you do good deeds to other people, there is the cause and effect, there is the action and consequence, something like that. Talking about the sacrifice, for example, if you worship the deva with the flower, Number three is the offering. When you offer the flower, and then offer the flower to the Buddha statue or to the Deva, something like that. The Buddha said, even when you offer to the Deva with the right view, they will take care of you, just like the mother and the children, something like that. So whatever you do, action or karma in Pali, they will also have the meaning or the consequence to it. So it leads to number four. The wrong view is to think or is to have the concept that there is no fruit or no result of good and bad deeds. Number five, there is no this life. This life not actually real or something like that. Is not actually exist. Number six, there is not afterlife. Number seven, there is no such thing as matter. Matter has no like what's it called? Like there's no matter. It means that I don't. It's just like someone that like ordinary people. They're not my mother. They're not have the I don't know what's it called in English, but I don't have to repay to her something like that. No good deed for her something like that. There's no such thing as father. Number nine, there are no beings that are reborn spontaneously. What does it mean? It's just like the deva or some kind of the hungry ghost. Deva and some kinds of hungry ghosts are reborn spontaneously. For example, when you die from this life as human and then you reborn as the deva, and then you will have the form, like the body, everything just like the teenager, 15 or 16 years old. You don't have to be reborn as the baby and then in the womb and then as a baby and then grow, not like that. When you reborn as a deva, you have the body of the 15 or 16 years old. Number 10, there is no ascetic or Brahmin who is rightly comported and rightly practiced and who describes the afterlife after realizing it with their own insight. This is the wrong view. What is the right view? This is very interesting. Right view is twofold, I say, the Buddha said. There is right view that is accompanied by defilements, partakes of good deeds, and ripens in attachments. And there is the right view that is noble, undefiled, transcendent, a factor of the path. So basically, there are two right views. Right view that is lokiya or worldly, and the right view that is lokutara or beyond the world. It's gonna take you out of the samsara, noble, a factor of the path. What is the right view that is accompanied by defilements, partakes of good deeds, and ripen in attachments? So it's the opposite of the wrong view. So you have the right view that, okay, giving, sacrifice, and offerings, when you do good deeds or bad deeds, there are fruits and results. There's this life really exists. There is an afterlife. You be reborn again if you still have the avisha or ignorance. There are such things as mother and father, who take care of you, and then like then you have to repay, do good deeds toward them. There are beings that are reborn spontaneously, just like the deva and some kinds of hungry ghosts. And there are ascetics and Brahmin who are rightly comported and rightly practiced and who describe the afterlife after realizing it with their own insight. This is the right view, but it's considered the right view that is accompanied by defilements, partakes of good deeds, and ripens in attachment. How? When you have this right view, of course, it's good, right? It's still considered right. So it's considered like a wholesome qualities. If you have the right concept, right notion that, okay, when you do good deeds, you have the good consequence. When you do bad deeds, you have the bad consequence. Good consequence, you happy in this life, happy in the next life, and other life after that, right? But if you do bad deeds, then unwholesome point is in this present moment, and after this life, you will reborn in the bad destinations. So when you have this kind of notion, you still do good deeds in order to reborn in the good destination, right? You do good deeds to your mother, to your father. You do good deeds to the ascetic. You offer to the ascetic. You offer to the monastic in order to reborn in the good destination. And when you do good deeds, you think that I am the one to do good deeds. This is my offering. This is my merit. So it's still, you know, have the kind of attachment, have the kind of ignorance because you think that you are the one who have this merit. So still have the concept or the notion of the self, atta, and still attach, still cling on to that notion. Or you cling on to your own merit. This is my meritorious deed. It's mine. And next life I will be reborn in the Deva realm or in the Brahma realm. And it's still, like have attachment and gonna be reborn again. On the contrary, the right view that is noble, undefiled, transcendent, a factor of the path is the wisdom. So when we talk about the right view, it's the wisdom. It's the wisdom. And also, this is the explanation of the word wisdom. The faculty of wisdom, the power of wisdom, that panya insi, panyinsi, panya pala in the Pali language, the awakening factor of investigational principles, or the Dhamma Vicaya Sampochong, the one that we discussed last week. The I think number two, the second one in the awakening factor, Sampochong, and the right view as the factor of the path. So here is the explanation. If we read in one sutra that talk about the power, they're gonna have the wisdom power, the power of the wisdom, panya pala. But if we read another sutra, the Buddha talk about the faculty, like the main, like the main one, the main faculty, something like that. And then the Buddha used to talk about panjinsi. Or in another sutra, the Buddha talk about the awakening factor, Dhammavichaya, or the right view, Sammatiththi. Even though it's the different word in Pali, Sammatiththi, Panya Phala, Panyinsi, Dhammavichaya, but everything is wisdom. The core, the essence is the same thing, wisdom, despite the different vocabulary used. So here the Buddha talk about the right view that is noble, that is the wisdom in one person, intent on the noble, intent on the undefiled, who possesses the noble path and develops, or the one who is developing the noble path. So what's the difference? Okay, it's the same thing, that you still have the right view, but you have the I would say the strong intent that, okay, now I'm developing the noble path. I'm gonna walk the path toward the end of suffering. I'm gonna walk the path toward the right awakening. So it's different. If you see this picture, you can see the clear picture. The right view, that is lokiya, or the worldly, still, connected to the world. Okay, I'm gonna do good deeds because they're gonna have the good consequence. I believe in the Deva realm, like good destination after this life. So gonna do good deeds, something like that. But that deed is mine, my malicious deeds, and I'm gonna have the the happiness moment that is mine, or something like that. So if you have the 10 worldly right view, you're still gonna be reborn, but gonna be reborn in the good destination. So you're still gonna stuck with the samsara. But if you ask me, is it good? Yes, it's good. But you're gonna be reborn again because you still have you partakes in the good actions, right? And ripen in attachment. You're gonna think like, okay, my good actions, it's mine. I can share to you, but it's mine, or something like that. I'm gonna, have my good consequence in the future, something like that. So it's still, in samsara, be reborn again. It's different from the right view, which is in the not the Four Noble Path, in the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah, in the Noble Eightfold Path. Sorry for the mistake. That it takes you out of the samsara. When you have the intent that, okay, I'm gonna walk the path leading to the end of suffering, it means that, okay, I don't want to be reborn. Okay, it's good. If I don't, reach nibbana in this life, I'm gonna be reborn again. But the journey gonna be cut short, maybe like not that long, because you don't, reborn and reborn and reborn again, because you have the wisdom to take you out of the samsara. So it's different. Mhm. And after this, the Buddha is going to talk about, the worldly right view, right thought, right speech, and also the lokuttara. It's in the Makha, it's in the Noble Eightfold Path that's going to take you out of the samsara. Okay, and then the first one, the Buddha conclude that one, a person who make an effort to give up wrong view and embrace right view, that is their right effort. If you know what is right and what is wrong, and you make an effort to give up wrong view and embrace right view, that is called the right effort. Mindfully, they give up wrong view and take up right view. When they do it, make an effort and do it with mindfulness, that is their right mindfulness. So these three things keep running and circling around right view, namely right view, right effort, and right mindfulness. Work together, keep running and working together. So here we gonna see that, okay, one makha, one factor, right? Because they use the word factor, right? One factor of the path, one factor of the path. Here we talk about the right view. Gonna have the right view. See, the right view come first, and then the right effort and the right mindfulness working together all the time. This is how the path, how the Noble Eightfold Path function. It's not right view and then right thought and then right speech, not like that. They have to work together. You know, in order for you to have the right thought, you have to know the right view, what is right, what is wrong. And then you make an effort to give up wrong thing and embrace the right thing. And then do it with mindfulness. So everything, these three things is very, very important. Um, reflect back, to the last week that we talked about the seven factors of awakening, right? Pochanka. The first one, mindfulness. Second one, investigation, Dhammavichaya. That we have the name here. Here. The awakening factor of investigation of principle. See? So it's the same thing. Dhammavichaya in Pochanka is the same thing as samadhi, the right view, or the wisdom, panya, right? Mindfulness, investigation, Dhammavichaya, effort, viriya, is the very, very important factor of the path. See, right view, right effort, right mindfulness. And after like keep doing, cultivating these three and also following the path, then you go through the process: rapture, tranquility, concentration, equanimity, right? And then right concentration, yeah, right concentration, and then right wisdom, and then right liberation. So that's why it's the factor of awakening. In this context, next, the right view has finished. Now we move on to the right thought. In this context, right view comes first. Again, this is like the pattern in this sutra. How does right view comes first? When you understand wrong thought as wrong thought and right thought as right thought, that is your right view. What is wrong thought? Thought of sensuality, thought of malice, thought of cruelty. What is right thought? Right thought is twofold, the Buddha said. There is right thought that is accompanied by defilements, partakes of good deeds, and ripens in attachment. And there is right thought that is noble, undefiled, transcendent, a factor of the path. So the right thought is twofold: worldly one and beyond the world, lokutara, means it takes you out of this world, no more rebirth. What is the right thought is accompanied by defilements, partakes of good deeds, and ripen in attachment, thought of renunciation, goodwill, and harmlessness. So this is the right thought, but the right thought that is noble, considered as a factor of the path, is the thinking, or you can use another word, the placing of the mind, thought, planting, implanting, embedding of the mind, verbal process in one that is intent on the noble, intent on the undefiled, who possesses the noble path and is developing the noble path. So what's the difference? It's just the same thing. Okay, think or thought of renunciation of goodwill and harmlessness, but with the intent that okay, I'm not gonna like circling in this samsara, but I'm gonna take the path, the noble path that take me out of the samsara. That's the difference. They make an effort to give up wrong thought and embrace the right thought. That's their right effort. Mindfully, they give up wrong thought and take up right thought. That's their right mindfulness. So these three things keep running and circling around right thought, namely right view, right effort, and right mindfulness. The second one. So after this, gonna talk a bit faster. The third one, in this context, right view comes first. How does right view come first? When you understand wrong speech as wrong speech, right speech as right speech, that's your right view. What's wrong speech? Speech that is false, divisive, harsh, and nonsensical. What is right speech? Again, right speech is twofold. Another one that is accompanied by defilement, ripened in attachment, and another one that is noble, a factor of the path. The right speech that is accompanied by defilement, refraining, opposite one, right? Refraining from lying, from divisive speech, from harsh speech, and from taking or talking nonsense. The one that is called a factor of the path is the desisting, abstaining, abstinence, and refraining from the four kinds of bad verbal conduct, the one that we just mentioned, but with the intent on the noble, undefiled, who is developing the noble path. Okay, I'm gonna refrain from the four kinds of bad verbal conduct, but with the intention to get out of this samsara, to follow the path. Because the Noble Eightfold Path is the path towards the right awakening, right liberation, no more rebirth. the same. They make an effort to give up wrong speech and embrace the right speech. That's their right effort. Mindfully, they give up wrong speech and take up right speech. That's their right mindfulness. So these three things keep running and circling around right speech, namely right view, right effort, and right mindfulness. This is the third one. Fourth one, what is wrong action? Killing living creatures, stealing, and sexual misconduct. There is the number one, number two, and number three, the first three precepts in the five precepts. And number four, no lying, not lying is, the right speech, right? So if you keep, four precepts out of the five precepts, then it means like you follow the path actually. And number five, the fifth precept is, do not take the alcoholic beverages, intoxicants, in order for you to be mindful to keep number one and number four precepts. So if you ask me like, okay, if you can keep like the five precepts, then you still consider you following the path part of it. What is right action? Sorry, I think I'm allergic to something here. I don't know what. Okay, what is right action? Right action is twofold. One that is accompanied by defilements and one that is a factor of the path. The right action that is accompanied by defilements refrain from killing living creatures, stealing, and sexual misconduct. Okay, I'm gonna keep the precept in order to, gain wealth, in order to have like the good fortune, in order to be reborn with good health and with, like many wealth in the future, something like that. Gonna be reborn again. But if you, desist, abstain, or the abstinence and refraining from the three kinds of bad bodily conduct and developing the noble path, you with the intention to developing the noble path, or you walking the path, that is the right action as a factor of the path. And then you make an effort. Be mindful when you make the right effort. So these three things keep running and circling around the right action. Next, what is right? What is wrong livelihood? Deceit, flattery, hinting, and belittling, and using material possession to chase after other material possession. That is called the wrong livelihood. What is the right livelihood? There are twofold as well. The right livelihood that is accompanied by defilements, it's when a noble disciple give up wrong livelihood and earns a living by right livelihood. So actually it's kind of broad. But there's an explanation that what is the right livelihood is mean, okay, different, opposite to the wrong livelihood. Also, when you practice the right speech and right action in your own career, or when you make a living, that is called the right livelihood. So no stealing, no killing, no, also deceit, flattery, hinting, something like that. So it's all included in that. It's kind of broad, but you can use, right speech and right action in your career. So it's called the right livelihood. What is the right livelihood that is a factor of the path? Is desisting, abstaining, abstinence, and refraining from wrong livelihood in one intent on the noble, in one that is developing the noble path. Again, when you make an effort, it's called the right effort. When you make an effort with mindfulness, it's called the right mindfulness. So the right view, right effort, and right mindfulness keep running and circling around right livelihood. Now, see, the Buddha talked to the right livelihood, starting from the right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, and then skip what? Right effort and right mindfulness, right? Why? Because right effort and right mindfulness, circling around these all five. So after that, the Buddha taught in this context, right view comes first. Right view gives rise to right thought. Right thought gives rise to right speech. Right speech gives rise to right action. Right action gives rise to right livelihood. Right livelihood gives rise to right effort. Right effort gives rise to right mindfulness. Right mindfulness gives rise to right concentration. Right concentration gives rise to right knowledge. Right knowledge gives rise to right freedom or right liberation. So it's just like the domino of things like that. So it's just all connected, but not by in order, but everything have to work together, right? Right view is gonna be right view, right effort, right mindfulness. Right thought, right view, right effort, right mindfulness, and then everything just give right to each and work together. And after you reach the right concentration, then the right wisdom, right knowledge, sammayana, and the right liberation, the samma vimutti. Right knowledge is the wisdom perfected by the ending of defilements, while right freedom or right liberation is the liberation from rebirth. And here too, the eradication of many bad and skillful quality is fully developed due to the right knowledge. In Thai translation, it's going to be longer. So here, the Buddha talk about the wholesome quality. Okay, right view give right to right thought. So you know, good things rise, right, as the consequence, right? And also, the noble four path, noble eightfold path, give rise to each other, right? So the eradication of many bad and skillful quality is fully developed. Oh, sorry. The eradication of many bad and skillful quality is fully developed due to the right knowledge. Mm. So this 20 for um, the right side, okay? And next, the Buddha gonna talk to another one. For one of right view, wrong view is worn away. So talk about, like the wrong view. When you can cultivate the right view, then the wrong view is worn away. For one of right thought, wrong thought is worn away. For one of right speech, wrong speech is worn away. For one that is right action, wrong action is worn away. For one of right livelihood, wrong livelihood is worn away. Things like that. For one of right liberation, wrong liberation is worn away. And many bad and skillful qualities that arise because of wrong freedom, wrong liberation are worn away. And because of right liberation, many skillful qualities are fully developed. So there are 20 on the side of skillful and 20 on the side of unskillful. The exposition of the teaching on the Great 40 has been rolled forth, and it cannot be rolled back. It's the truth. When it's rolled forth, it's like a Dhammacakka. When it's rolled forth, it cannot be rolled back by any ascetic or Brahmin or good or God or Mara or Brahma or by anyone in the world. So this is what the Buddha said. Okay, this is the Great 40. 20 on the side of the skillful and 20 on the side of unskillful. It's like the very, very important discourse. For example, if we think of the Four Noble Truths, we think of the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra, right? When we think of the Noble Eightfold Path, we think of the Great 40, Mahacattalisaka Sutra. So it's very important, as I mentioned a lot, right? That okay, if you want to study the Noble Eightfold Path, then you have to study this discourse. It's yeah, it's quite difficult to understand, but if we listen or if we read it more and more and we try to like understand, try to like contemplate a lot in this sutra, then you will see the function of the Noble Eightfold Path. It's not like, okay, first right view and then after that, skip the right view and have the right thought. And once you have the right thought, skip the right thought and do the right. It's not like that, but everything have to, like work together. So we have the word, there is the word mak samangki. Makha samangki is my unification of the path. Gonna have the unification of the path, the unity of the path in order for you to reach. So that is why it's very important, because if we study this course and like, okay, the right view is the utmost important, because the right view comes first. If you have the right view, what is it? It's the view, no, it's the wisdom to distinguish between right and wrong, skillful and skillful, wholesome and wholesome, with great benefit or with many drawbacks, for the supreme happiness or for the lasting suffering, or something like that. So you know what is where to go, which direction. And when you have the right view, so okay, this is the good direction, then lead to this direction. So the right view comes first. After that, then you know about the right effort. The right effort, what is it? You know what is right, right? Cultivate what is right, abandon what is wrong. Um, Embrace what is right, abandon what is wrong. Yeah. And then everything you have to be mindful as well. Be mindful. Why? If you don't be mindful, then how can you give rise to the wisdom, right? When you like still like many things going on with the monkey mind, no mind, not mindfulness, right? Then how can you make the what is right or what is wrong? How can you um, make an effort? So here in this sutra, they use the word mindfully. You make an effort, to cultivate the wholesome and abandon unwholesome, things like that. So the most important thing is the right view, right? The wisdom, and then have the right effort, and then have the right mindfulness. Just like in this, that I'm sorry, I think I got allergic to something. So this, right? Just like in the 7 factors of awakening, mindfulness, investigation, or the wisdom, and then the effort. Okay. And also what I would like to point out again, that is, everything here, like not everything, just like the right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood. Here the Buddha talk about the worldly one, the one that gonna make you reborn again, but in the good destination, right? For the case of the right or the skillful side. And also another one, the right view here, is the right view in the Noble Eightfold Path. If you walk the path, it means the path that lead you out of the samsara. Okay, that's what we should, like keep in mind. Okay, and that's it. The Great 40 and the importance of the right view is just so that for you to, like, yeah, to learn what is right and what is wrong. And okay, after this, after you've learned about the importance of the right view, right effort, and right mindfulness, right? So now you know, like, okay, how to have the right view, how to have the right wisdom. Okay, there are many factors. Two factors I would like to mention today. Palato kosa, you listen from someone else. You listen or you read, you study. In Pali, we use the word pariyatti. And then yoniso manasikara. So you contemplate, you reflect wisely. Whatever you listen, sutta, you listen. And then you contemplate, you reflect over and over with wisdom, you know. And then with these two factors give rise to the wisdom, the right wisdom. So by listening, just as that we have the Dhamma discussion here, is one of the factor palato hosa. You listen from someone else, or you can read. I have attached the links to you. You can read and then you can listen. After that, you contemplate, embrace the teachings and contemplate and reflect over and over and over. And then after that, you have the right view, right understanding, and you have the right effort. Okay, this is good. Okay, I'm gonna cultivate wholesome qualities and abandon unwholesome quality. Oh, anger arise. Oh, abandon it. Use the loving kindness instead, something like that. Oh, lopa or greed, the desire arise. Oh, I know it's the cause of suffering. How to abandon it? You have to think wisely, contemplate wisely that why? Why should I want it? When things there are many factors that contribute to that. I cannot wish for the good consequence to arise, but I have to make an effort. I have to, give the, I have to, contribute the factors to it. For example, if you want to have the good present to your new product, then there are many factors for you to, perform well when you present to your client, right? Okay, why? You have to do research. You have to practice, in order for you not to, um, have the anxiety or fear, something like that, or shaking, something like that. Practice, and then good sleep, and then there are many factors. So you do everything to contribute to that factor in order to have the good presentation, right? And after that, you don't wish, because if you wish for the good result, is the desire. But if you know that, okay, I'll do my best, I have prepared everything, but I know that things can change. In that moment, I might fear someone. In that moment, I might forget something. It's normal. So I just do my best. Whatever outcome, it's okay because I have done my best. I've done all my effort in that situation, and just, let it go, let it flow, something like that. Yeah, so it's like how you adapt the Buddha's teaching in your daily life and you contemplate it. Oh, this is, I think, now I understand. Mhm. Hello, Maria. Thank you all to, listen to the Dhamma session today. Okay, any question? And if you don't have any question, then we will conclude this session today, because I think I have allergy. Okay? Okay. Now let's say Satu 3 times before we leave. Satu, Satu, Satu Anumotami. May you all have the right view, the right effort, and the right mindfulness, working all the time in order to, you know, follow the path from the right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness. Eventually, you will it will give right to the right concentration, and after that, right knowledge, and then the right liberation. May we all reach the right liberation or the nibbana, the supreme happiness, with the power of the Buddha, the power of the Dhamma, and the power of Sangha. May you all be well and happy and safe. That's it for today. See you again next week. Goodbye. Sadhu. Have a good day.